Old works of art from Europe and the Americas hold pieces of information that propose outsiders and UFOs have been going to Earth for a long time. Numerous hundreds of years old European religious depictions, given illustrations and expand embroidered works of art contain signs, images and shapes that intently look like UFOs and extraterrestrials. In any case, these pictures are profoundly dubious, with some workmanship specialists saying they are not proof of UFOs, and are in reality simply straightforward misreadings of religious images. Mail Online investigates the absolute most acclaimed cases of UFO or outsider-like images in old and established craftsmanship, the Annunciation with Saint Emitius, 1486. The Annunciation with Saint Emitius is a modified piece painted by Italian craftsman Carlo Crivelli in 1486. It was made to remember Angel Gabriel's declaration to the Virgin Mary that she would bring forth Jesus. Trick scholars recommend that the ring delineated in the upper left, sparkling light onto Mary, is a UFO shuttle. In any case, craftsmanship specialists say that it just demonstrates a little accumulation of blessed messengers assembled around a hover of mists. The ring and light speak to the blessed soul dropping towards the Virgin Mary. Representation from Omonociri, 1844. Urabun alludes to a puzzling, obscure protest that was discovered floating off the shoreline of eastern Japan's Hitachi territory in 1803. The protest is portrayed in three distinctive Japanese writings: Toin Shasetsu, 1825, Hirukishu, 1835, and Omonociri, 1844. This outline delineates the UFO-like protest, which Hitachi mariners found gliding in the sea. As indicated by the notes nearby a few representations of the art, the question was produced using steel and glass, and was sufficiently vast to fit a little human inside. Inside the specialty, the mariners purportedly found an interesting content which they couldn't interpret. Glorification of the Eucharist, 1600. This 17th-century work by Italian craftsman Ventura Salimbeni highlights God and Jesus watching out finished God's kingdom. In any case, the interesting, adjusted protest sat between the two looks like Russia's Sputnik satellite, propelled more than 350 years after the fact in 1957. Fear-inspired Notion YouTube channel Strange Mysteries made the odd association between the two of every video posted in 2014. They guarantee in the video, this equitable looks somewhat excessively uncanny for representative reference. In the event that the circle is said to speak to the universe, for what reason did the painter exclude any stars or other divine items? Holy Person Wolfgang and the Devil, 1475. Popular 15th-century Austrian Renaissance painter Michael Packer made this work around a legend that Saint Wolfgang deceived the fallen angel into building a congregation. Holy Person Wolfgang was the bishop of Regensburg in Bavaria amid the 10th century. Connivance scholars assert that the figure portraying the demon in the artistic creation could be a portrayal of an outsider that went to Earth. However, the hypothesis is a powerless one, as the fiend has been spoken to in a wide assortment of bizarre structures all through the long history of religious fine art. The Baptism of Christ, 1710. Craftsmanship specialists propose that this work of art is a reference to a religious entry: the sky opened, and the Spirit plummeted like a bird and put lighting upon him. It was painted by Dutch craftsman Ert de Gelder in the 18th century. UFO seekers recommend that the circle-like protest, demonstrated sparkling light onto John the Baptist and Jesus, could be a UFO. This scene has been delineated by numerous specialists, says web UFO trick scholar The Ancient Aliens. Be that as it may, this scene is especially fascinating, a direct result of the flying saucer floating over the scene with light emissions sparkling down and enlightening the occasion. Considering de Gelder's notoriety for being one of the first-class craftsmen of his opportunity, it is likely this work was proposed to be considered important and intended to impart that Jesus had connections to outsiders and maybe was of outsider beginnings. Peruvian hill carving, 6th century. Old Peruvians, for example, the Nazca individuals, are well known for their hundreds of years old carvings in the Peruvian desert. Numerous were dove into the South American scene between the 1st and 6th hundreds of years. This picture demonstrates a 6th century Peruvian slope cutting that seems to portray an outsider-like figure. It's speculated that neighborhood tenants cut these messages into the floor to motion to outsiders that they esteem their visits. Yet, the carvings are similarly prone to have been messages to old Peruvian gods. The Madonna with Saint Giovannino, 15th century. In this sketch, Italian Renaissance craftsman Domenico Ghirlandaio delineates Mary Mother of Jesus looking down on two kids. The fine art hangs in the Palazzo Vecchio in Florence, Italy. To one side of Mary's head, an abnormal flying item can be found out of sight, which some UFO seekers believe is an outsider shuttle. A shepherd can be seen protecting his eyes from the sun as he indicates it. The protest is intriguing to scheme scholars since it has no other setting in the work of art. UFO scheme scholars cool interesting stuff examine a conceivable perusing. Upon nearer examination, the man is by all accounts turning away from the UFO, behind him and behind him. Or on the other hand, more probable, the remarkably strange question might be envisioned gliding over the ground between them. From either point of view, could Mary be viewed as hindering the two children from the flying saucer's view? Be that as it may, craftsmanship specialists say that fine art of this period frequently delineated mists sparkling celestial lights as religious images. They propose that on account of Madonna with Saint Giovannino, this basic scriptural imagery has been misread.